tell me again why you invest in real estate. Like, how do you try to recuperate the initial cost on each purchase?
Yeah, so basically what I've looked at doing is, um, of course, in normal real estate, you go with one unit per renter is normally how a lot of people look at real estate. They go, I have one door, therefore I have one renter. Well, we looked at it. We said, okay, well, let's look at it in terms of how we can maximize our variable income and keep our fixed costs the same. So we'll basically either do it per room or even sometimes you can do it per bed, depending on the space. How you can recoup basically your the amount of income that you spend or initially on your initial investment to the real estate. So you can say, okay, well, if I have 4 bedrooms, it just depends on the layout. But if I have 4 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms, normally you would get one family. Well, if you can get per room or even two different groups of people in the same under the same roof, then you can, of course, again maximize your income. Your fixed costs stay the same, so your mortgage stays the same. That doesn't change. It doesn't matter how many people are in a location. You still have the same, really, relatively the same fixed costs. Now, if you do rent by the room, sometimes you have to incentivize people to kind of offset a little bit of the amount of money that you may be asking for. So an example could be you might be able to cover some utilities, or you might cover um, small things. Let's say your internet, which in this area, internet and cable is like $60 a month. So if you can get an extra $300, or really per person, so basically effectively $600 more per person,
Yeah.
and they say, okay, well, they're paying less in utilities. They're less things they have to worry about, and then you obviously get more income as a landlord. So that's kind of what we looked at. Now, of course, there's a balancing act like anything. You have to go, okay, well, what is the mix of between the renters, and what's the consistency of the renters? What is my turnover rate? Do I have a higher turnover rate or vacancy rate? Do I have more issues? Is it more management intensive? So those are the types of things that you can kind of factor in if it makes more sense to do it per room or per unit.
So you self-manage, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, it's more really the way we go basically approach our tenants is there's no more management involvement than a normal renter, a normal single dwelling renter. Basically, that has to do with our consistency and how we choose the people that we select in our dwellings.
So you try to provide more convenience and try to charge them more for the income.
Yeah, well, because I mean, it's a fair. We look at it almost a fair trade. Is they spend less in terms of overhead. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't have to worry about. They come in and they can immediately move in.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot of things they have to worry about other than basically their room and board. So
And so that's why you only look at multiplexes.
that's a big factor because it also goes well with kind of the other businesses that we have, as well as of course economies of scale. I would rather have a single roof with 4 units as opposed to one or 4 different roofs that I have to worry about. So that's a big. I mean, the economies of scale, you really can't beat that.
I see.
Yeah, you really can't beat that. I mean, the hardest part, of course, is just finding the types of properties. But you know, to me, it's a better overall deal.
How about the region? Are you only going to buy in McDonald?
Ooh, that's a great question. So, because I self-manage, the location matters right now because that's kind of where our arbitrage comes into play. We can save a lot of that money that we would otherwise spend on a manager. And then, of course, being close to your properties, to me, especially originally, well, I had bought a property a few years ago, but I realized being close to properties is extremely important. At least from starting out for where we were. As I gain more experience, I think I probably would look at maybe broadening out outside of the metro um, to maybe other states, but that's tricky. The roommate situation will be tricky outside the state, I think.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Do you consider your mom as your partner?
Yeah, I mean, she's a rock star. I mean, having your family in general be close and available, that again is arbitrage to me. I mean, because now we don't have to pay for a manager. We don't have to. We can do a lot of the repairs ourselves. We can screen people better. Uh, yeah, I would say having your family or having partners or that are trustworthy is important.
But you're open to partners outside of your family.
Oh, of
too,
course,
right?
yeah, of course. Well, because that's how real growth is kind of achieved, in my opinion. Sometimes with family, unless people have a lot of experience in a lot of different areas, you'll bottleneck at some point. You'll kind of go, okay, well, this person may not be familiar with, I don't know, this asset class or this particular topic. So you have to branch out, figure out, is a better do we learn it ourselves, or do we find somebody who's really better at it than we are, and then we learn from them, and vice versa. So
I see.
yeah.
So when you move to Midtown next month, maybe look into some other cities as well.
All right. What cities would you suggest? Do you have any in mind right now that you suggest, or what do you?
Well, I really like Doraville and Norcross.
All right.
Chambly too.
All right.
But the inventory is kind of low.
Okay.
And the economies of scale that you just mentioned is a little hard to achieve because it's single-family homes, right? The next city I want to kind of push is Lilburn. I love Lilburn, right?
All right.
But the rental income is not as high as Doraville or Norcross. But we should just continue to look and see like which one which listing makes sense for us, like if we can convert that into 2-unit property.
You know what, that's actually a really good thing you brought up there, Sujin, is converting property that would make, like, basically properties that either, well, the zoning doesn't matter because it's all R4 most of the time, but for a property that has like maybe a what do they call it, unconventional layout, where sometimes you can basically make a duplex, or if it has an unfinished basement, what we're looking at doing for the Covington property. The top piece is a significant square footage, but there's a basement, basically below ground basement, but it's attached. And so we said, well, that would be a good, basically I'm kind of using that as an analogy of like, well, what would be a like kind property, maybe even if it's not necessarily residential. It could be commercial, that could be used for a residential use. I mean, there's property that are like, what do they call it? Non-best use, I've seen. It's kind of a, they say, okay, well, maybe it's I wouldn't call it a warehouse, but you sometimes maybe see a large single family home that's been converted to, I don't know, a doctor's office or whatever. And maybe it's in more of a residential. I mean, there's places around McDonough that are not too far. It's like, they're commercial only because of their location. But then you have the opposite too, where something should be a better use and it's in a neighborhood. So we've kind of tried to explore that. Those type of properties are definitely, we will be probably looking for those in the next, I would say probably next year at some point.
Yeah, also like if you can charge one unit in a duplex, if you can charge like $1,800 for one unit, that's in total $3,600, right? But if you can find a single family home of the same price that can rent for $3,600,
right,
then it's the same thing.
That's correct.
Right?
Yep.
And your management effort is half what you need
correct.
to put in.
Yep.
So I usually, because there aren't that many multiplexes up where I look, right? But as long as the cash flow makes sense, I just go for it.
Yeah, I agree with you though on that, because right now, really the duplexes and the multis were what made sense at the time. But if inventory is too low, because I'll be honest, I mean, the timing just really made sense for kind of the two properties that we basically acquired. It's tough to find multifamily, even in an area like below 20. I mean.
And you walked here, right, from there?
What's that? Oh,
this is what is this?
McDonough Square? Yeah, McDonough
right?
Square. Yep.
And you can walk there.
Oh yeah.
You have plenty of parking.
That's right.
So your properties are really unique.
Yeah, I mean, it was the timing, Sujin, I'll be honest with you, was very ideal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was everything worked out beautifully, and it took us 30 days exact to close, which is hardly any time for I mean, because we had some things that came out. We had, well, there are more so just like miscellaneous things, right? So like, oh, we have to make sure that the deeds match and stuff like that because of I mean, the properties are old. You know, they're made in the 70s, so sometimes you have things that maybe in the county record are listed one way, maybe in the deed is listed. So we had like small things, but we still closed in 30 days, which is, I'd say that's not bad. You know, because sometimes a lot of homes, I think the average, I don't know what the average is, I think maybe 42 days or something like that. Yeah, and we were able to give the seller what they wanted. We got a fair price out of it, and the numbers worked beautifully.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's brick, which I like. Doesn't matter really for
lasts longer.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
Looks better,
it does look better. I'll be honest, because I'm like, man, you can't find any brick properties well as often, just because newer properties they're wanting to save money. But yeah, I would say it was awesome, and the fact that they're next to each other.
How about down payment? How do you save for down payment?
So right now, basically my W-2 job is really the main source. and then performing the arbitrage basically of doing the per having multiple people per unit as opposed to the entire dwelling. That has been really successful. The duplex was the first iteration of that, and it has done very well over the last. Well, we bought that property in late of November 20 or late 2024, and so that has been going well for over a year. Yeah, it's been going really well. Of course, thanks to you for the per unit. What is it, B? I think, or A? I think they're in right now. Yeah, they've been awesome. They've been consistent, great tenants. They haven't complained about anything. Which, if they did, I would be a responsible landlord and respond to them, right? But they haven't complained about anything. So.
It's still the same 3 young people?
It is the same, yep.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask them here soon about a renewal because we're coming up on a year. So I'm like, all right, let me lock them in early.
Yeah.
Because they were great tenants. I mean, and I'll probably do like, a small inspection and see if there's anything. Sometimes people will be hesitant on like bringing up problems because they think that, oh, the landlord may whatever. But I'm like, no, that's our job, right? So.
Yeah. And we give proper notice, so it's fine.
Oh, yeah.